Welcome to the deep dive. So you've gathered all this material, articles, notes, maybe some reports, and our job is to kind of dive in with you,
Yeah.
help pull out the really key stuff, the things that jump out, and make sense of it.
Exactly. It's getting past just the headlines
Right.
and really digging into what matters, why it matters.
Helping you see those connections.
Yeah.
And today, wow, looking at these sources you brought,
Yeah.
we're tackling a case that's it's pretty chilling, honestly.
It really is.
Starts with a missing elderly woman, a worried call, but it spirals into something much darker. Lots of detective work, forensic details.
Right. We're going to walk through the timeline, look at the evidence the detectives found, like step by step,
Okay.
and the suspect, his story, how it changes, and how these tiny details ended up pointing to something huge.
Okay, let's unpack this mystery then. It kicks off August 27th. A woman named Edna Suttles, she's 80 years old, about 9:00 that morning, she leaves her home in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. Just going to check on a friend, something she does all the time.
And that's the key, right? The routine. Because when she doesn't show up later,
The friend knows immediately.
yeah, calls 911. The quote is something like, "This is not like her. She shows up like clockwork." That's the first big red flag.
So police go to Edna's place, do a welfare check. Nothing looks forced, no break-in,
But no Edna.
no Edna. Her son comes over, and he notices jewelry's gone. Like $50,000 worth.
Oh.
And crucially, her car's missing too.
Okay, so that missing car, that becomes priority number one for the investigators. The sources say finding it was like the most instrumental step then.
Their best lead.
Yeah, trying to figure out where she went, who she was with.
So 6 days pass. Nothing. Then, bingo, they find the car
Where?
abandoned in a hotel parking lot back in Travelers Rest.
Okay, that's odd, like the sources say. Close to home?
Right. Why leave it there? They check the hotel, obviously. Nobody registered under her name.
So dead in there, but maybe surveillance footage.
Exactly. Detectives think, okay, let's track the car's movements, see if we can see who parked it there. They start pulling CCTV from around her home, working forwards.
And the cameras?
Yeah.
They start telling a story?
Yep. 9:30 a.m., a pawn shop camera catches her leaving home. She's driving towards the local Food Lion.
Okay.
9 minutes later, she pulls into the Food Lion lot. And the video shows this. A man walks up to her car. He's got 2 bags, gets in. She drives off with him.
Whoa, okay, so she picks someone up.
Seems like it. Then there's this big gap, like 4 hours.
4 hours.
Then, 1:43 p.m., her car is seen leaving her home again. It goes back to the same Food Lion.
Back to the Food Lion, okay.
But here's where it gets really bad. The person who gets out of the driver's seat,
Is it not her?
it's not Edna. It's the man she picked up earlier.
Oh, man.
And you see him, clear as day. He walks straight over to his own car, a Chevy, parked right next to her Jeep.
Okay.
Then he goes back to Edna's Jeep, opens the door, and he drags something out.
Drags something. Or what?
At first, maybe it wasn't clear on the video, but they did this frame-by-frame thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what, it was who. The source material specifically mentions the unmistakable golden hair of Edna Suttles. He's moving her body.
Oh, my God.
It's horrifying. Then, just minutes later, 1:47 p.m., he gets back in her Jeep, drives it across the way to that hotel lot.
And parks it exactly where they found it.
Exactly. Then he gets out, and you see him. He starts wiping down the door and seats.
Cleaning up. Removing evidence.
Totally. By 2:14 p.m., he walks back to his own car at the Food Lion, gets in, and drives away. Last time anyone sees him or her on camera.
Just that they have this incredibly damning footage, but they still don't know who this guy is, right? From the outside cameras.
Right. The footage is grainy, identifying him as tough, but then they realize, wait,
The bags.
the bags. When he
Yeah.
first got in her car, he had bags from Food Lion. He must have bought something.
Inside the store, where the cameras are better.
Bingo. They pull the internal store footage, and there he is. Clear shot. They identify him.
Who is it?
Daniel Prince.
Daniel Prince. And that name, it wings alarm bells immediately, doesn't it?
Big time. The sources fill this in. Prince is a convicted kidnapper.
Yeah, I saw that. Michigan, right. 1997, sentenced to 30 years.
Tied and shackled a woman. She luckily escaped. He served 13 and a half years, got out on parole in 2009.
And what was he doing since then?
Get this,
Uh,
working as a handyman and his clients. The sources say predominantly elderly single ladies.
Just like Edna. And his previous victim.
Exactly. The pattern is terrifyingly clear for the investigators. They've got a convicted kidnapper who targets this exact demographic, caught on camera moving Edna's body. They need to find him fast, Maybe she's still alive somewhere.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but possible.
Right. Now, even with that video, proving kidnapping or murder right away is tricky, but they definitely have him on grand larceny for the Jeep.
Stealing the car.
Yeah, it's enough. Gives them probable cause. So they get a warrant. Arrest him. Search his place.
They track him to his home in Bostic, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And the arrest. The description is kind of chilling.
So.
Armed officers surround the place, And Prince. He's noticeably calm and composed.
Weird.
Yeah, unnervingly calm. The source even notes it was like he had a plan to escape, even then.
Wow. Okay, so they bring him in for questioning.
Yeah. And the detectives, they play it smart, start off casual, friendly, try to build rapport.
Standard technique.
Right. And crucially, they don't tell him right away they had the video.
Let him talk first.
Exactly. They ask about his work. He says, home remodeling, home repair, tile work, got customers. They ask why he moved from Michigan. He says parole.
Does he mention the conviction?
Yeah. When they ask point blank what he was locked up for, he says a kidnapping charge. Admits he did 13 and 12 years.
Okay, so he's not hiding that.
No. He even throws in another conviction, 1 and 12 years, for a false statement on a vehicle title. Tries to spin it like he's been clean since parole.
Right, the reformed man narrative.
Then they pivot. August 27th. Where were you, Dan?
And he gets vague.
Super vague. All over the place. Back and forth to Charlotte, maybe down to South Carolina, Traveler's Rest. But Thursday or Friday? Can't recall.
Dodging.
Then he says he wasn't working, but visiting a lady he knew, Edna. Says she had so many damn problems, always calling him, mentions needing money for her daughter or maybe a PI.
A private investigator. Okay. Trying to plant seeds, maybe?
Yeah. The sources call this part the detectives allowing Prince to dig a hole for himself, letting him spin this tale.
Okay, so when do they drop the bomb? The video?
Now, they hit him with it. What you're telling us is that's not you on the 27th Food Line parking lot Traveler's Rest.
And his reaction?
First, I don't think so. Quick denial. Then, forced. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to food. He's caught.
So now he has to explain the video.
And he comes up with this elaborate story on the spot.
Yeah.
Says Edna wanted him to look at some stuff at her house. Picked him up at Food Lion, and she wanted him to go with her to meet a private investigator because she was nervous. Didn't trust the PI. Claims they drove to the hotel to see if the PI was there.
Whoa. Okay. Deflecting hard. Blame the non-existent PI meeting.
Totally. Classic deflection, the sources call it. But the detectives, they just hammer him with the CCTV proof, angle by angle, timestamp by timestamp.
Laying it all out.
That's y'all coming down 25. Here's y'all in the hotel parking lot. Oh, look, there's y'all backing in. And the killer lines. Oh, look, you get out. Nobody else gets out.
Oof.
You wipe the entire car down.
Right.
There's you walking across the parking lot. And there's you getting back into your car and driving away.
How does he react to that level of detail?
He's visibly stunned.
Yeah.
Caught completely. But still tries to squirm. Says he wiped the car because he was worried.
Worried about what? Doesn't make sense.
And then they hit him with something else. Mud on his car tires. Suggests he went off-road.
Another piece that doesn't fit his story.
He tries to explain that, too. Claims he pulled off Highway 25 South with Edna to look at some old truck for sale.
His story is just falling apart, contradicting himself.
Completely. He starts changing his story about where Edna is. First, he dropped her at home after leaving her car at the hotel. No, wait. She got into his car at Food Lion, and he dropped her home in his car.
But the video shows that's impossible.
Right. Detective shut him down. Dan, stop playing games. We watched the video. She is not in her car. You did not drop anyone off. He tries to drop her off in my car thing again. They're like, no, you did not. You did not drop anyone off.
Yes. So he's cornered. What's his excuse for wiping the car now?
He goes back to the PI story. Says he knew he'd been in her car, didn't want to leave it there because she's got somebody that's after her.
Still pushing the PI thing?
Yeah, but detectives already talked to the PI he mentioned. Confirmed. No meeting. So Prince claims, oh, she must have hired a different PI.
Desperate.
Totally desperate. Detectives finally just lay it out. It's not making sense. You're the last person to be in a vehicle you wipe out of a lady that's missing. That sounds really fun.
Basically saying, come on, we know what this looks like.
And Prince's reply shows he gets it. He says, it does. That's why we're here.
Wow. So at the end of that interrogation, he's admitted being with her, being the last one.
But he's stuck to the lie that he dropped her off safe. Yeah. Even though they've shown him it's impossible. The sources say they locked him into a lie. They know he's responsible.
Okay, while all this is going on, what about the search of his property?
Big finds there. They discover several automatic weapons.
Which, as a convicted felon,
He can't legally own. Huge deal. Potential federal charges. Means they can hold him longer while they keep searching.
And that continued search.
Right.
That's where they find something really crucial, right?
Yes. Described as a most crucial piece of evidence. A yogurt cup found on his land.
Just a yogurt cup.
Not just any yogurt cup. They tested. It was laced with a cocktail of drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Lorazepam, tramadol, and cyclobenzaprine. Muscle relaxants, sedatives.
And that combination, what would it do?
Cause central nervous system depression. Basically knock someone out.
Yeah.
Heavy sedation.
Oh my God. The parking lot footage?
Exactly. Edna slumped over, unable to move when he dragged her out.
He drugged her with the yogurt.
That's the inescapable conclusion. Sedated her, made her helpless. The source puts it starkly. There's nothing Edna can do to stop him, and she's led away to her death.
Unbelievable. So now they have the weapons, the yogurt, the video, his lies.
The case is overwhelming. They bring Prince back in for more questioning.
And this time,
Facing everything, he makes a full confession.
to Edna's murder.
Yes. But it doesn't stop there.
What do you mean?
He confesses to 3 more murders.
3 more? Who?
The sources named them. Lee Goodman, Dolores Surs, and Dolores' daughter, Nancy Rigo.
Oh my God. What did he say about them?
It's chilling. He claims he euthanized Dolores Surs because her daughter, Nancy, asked him to.
What?
But then he says Nancy got guilty. He was going to go to the police. So he killed Nancy, too.
To silence her.
Seems so.
Yeah.
And the motive for Nancy? Pure money. She'd given him power of attorney.
So he controlled her finances.
Yes. And he admitted he'd been collecting her Social Security checks for several years, since 2017 when he killed her.
He killed her in 2017 and kept collecting her checks. How?
By pretending to be her. Sending emails, messages to her family, keeping up the charade that she was alive. They found tons of her documents at his house.
That's deeply disturbing. What about the third victim, Lee Goodman?
His story there was that she tried to rob him, so he killed her. Dumped her body in a desolate area, just like Nancy, eventually like Edna.
So Edna was the 4th victim in this string of murders he confessed to.
That's right.
Did they find the other bodies? What about Edna's?
It took time. A year later, May 16, 2022, they finally found Edna's body.
Where?
In a grave close to Daniel's home in Rutherford County. They ID'd her. Finally, some closure for a poor family.
And Prince, even after confessing, was he still trying to play games?
Oh, yeah. He knew they'd found a lot of stuff at his house, hinting at the other crimes. He says he wants a little bit of control on how they happen. He wants a deal.
What kind of deal?
His bargaining chip was telling them where Edna's body was. In return, he wanted his whole case federal, not state.
Why federal?
Sources say he thought federal prison meant better living conditions. And critically, he wanted life, no death penalty.
Avoid the death penalty and get better prison conditions by revealing where he buried her.
Wow. And he had one more condition. Before talking more freely about the other murders,
Yeah.
he tells the detectives, if you tell them to turn that off, I will talk to you a little more freely. Meaning the camera.
Did they?
They did. They turned off the main camera.
They kept audio running.
Yep. Backup audio recorder was still on,
Yeah.
and it caught everything.
So what did he say on the audio?
It's bone-chilling, explaining the first body. A person I was very good friends with wanted to do something to put someone basic out of their misery that was very closely related to them. Clearly talking about Dolores and Nancy.
And the second.
That person started having an extreme amount of guilt over this and decided they were going to go tell what had happened. That's Nancy.
And the third one, Lee Goodman. Did he admit the financial motive again?
Yes, but it sounds like he's maybe mixing up details or trying to be clever. He says there's a third body that I did not kill, maybe referring to Dolores initially. And I knew that they'd be getting Social Security disability for the rest of their life, so I got rid of set bodies, for example, so that I could continue to use the car. It's a bit garbled, but the financial motive, using assets of the dead, is clear.
This cold calculation.
And then his final demand on the audio, I clam up like a clam if this doesn't go federal for everything, laying down his terms.
It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable calculation right to the end.
Wow. Yeah, that was, a true deep dive, an incredibly disturbing case. You really see how it went from that first missing person call, finding the car, the painstaking work with the CCTV, finding that tiny clue, the yogurt cup,
Yeah.
and how it all came together to unravel not just one murder, but this horrifying series of crimes.
It absolutely highlights that, every detail can matter. That friend's call being slightly unusual, where a car is parked, Bags in someone's hand.
A flagship hair color in a grainy video.
Exactly. Mud on tires, that yogurt cup. It was connecting all those little dots that broke through his lies.
And exposed this history he had hidden.
And the interrogation strategy, too. Letting him talk, letting him lie, then confronting him piece by piece. Brilliant work.
It really lays bare the motivations, too, doesn't it? From, like, silencing a witness, apparently,
Right.
to this cold, calculated, long-term financial gain,
Mm-hmm.
all coming out in his own words on that audio.
Exactly. The why is just as disturbing as the what. And the sources really give us insight into that.
So for you listening, as you kind of process this,
Yeah.
maybe think about that facade, how someone can seem, normal, maybe even helpful, like a handyman, while hiding such darkness. And also how that focused investigation, that attention to detail, can eventually bring it all crashing down.
Yeah. It definitely makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we miss small signals or dismiss details that don't quite add up? Is there a bigger picture hidden beneath the surface? Something to chew on, for sure.
Keep asking those questions. Keep digging into things that catch your eye, and we'll be right back here next time to take another deep dive with you.